Hello viewers, here we have a Lakewood HV-21T high velocity fan, and I can't even get it in the view window here because it's so big. The previous owners, I don't know, somewhere around there, I don't think it was the previous owner, probably the one before that, had modified this to bypass the thermostat. And I'm not sure if that's a function of the thermostat failed or if they just didn't want the thermostat functionality. It certainly seems like the thermostat would be okay. You can hear an audible sound when the relay opens and closes. Kind of a cool sound. Anyways, of course that's not necessarily a certain indicator that it works, but it seems like it has some promise to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, and I'm going to put the meter across the terminals and see if it's actually getting a closed circuit when it's engaged, or if there is in fact something wrong with it. Now, oddly enough, this has bolts, bolt head screws around the edge of it, which is not something I've seen on any of the other HV fans. So I'm wondering if these are original or not. They're also not extremely tight. I have a good feeling these are not original, because clearly somebody was in here at some point. Although why they would have replaced the screws is kind of beyond me. Unless it was just a case of they mangled the original ones trying to get them off. I know some of them were very, very tight. I've broken a screwdriver trying to get the screws off on the 18 model. This is going to be interesting because I've got to be careful to not let the guard move when I take this screw off. It's quite heavy and will undoubtedly damage the blade if it collides. Okay, that went pretty well. For those that want to see, here's the inside of the guard. It's relatively clean. I'm not going to spend any time cleaning it in this particular video, but I may in the future at some point. So now we have access to the thermostat, and I'm going to get out my multimeter here. I should have done this prior to recording. This is the meter that I have and I like. It's a Fluke 115. It's certainly overkill for this particular project, but it's a nice meter, and it's you can use it for quite a few different things. So we're going to put this onto continuity here. And you may not be able to see the screen, but it'll have an audio indicator when there's a connection. So I'm going to go ahead and probe these two terminals here. See if we can get this on the video. Okay, so there's no connectivity there. Turn it on. And it seems like it works perfectly fine. Off, on, off, on. Okay, so it would certainly appear like the thermostat works. So next thing we're going to do is I'm going to undo this crazy thing here. Oh, how I hate when people tie wrap wires to things. You know, it would certainly make this easier if the blade wasn't on here. Let me see if I can get the blade off. Where is the Allen key thing? Hello, Allen keys, where are you? I can't find them. You see the Allen keys anywhere? Oh, jeez. Where did they go? Well, here's an Allen key. This isn't really what I wanted. I'm not even sure it's going to work. Oh, that happens to be the right size. But I don't know if this will give me enough leverage to actually undo anything. I gotta find those stinking Allen keys. Because this is terrible. Oh, that wasn't so bad. I wonder if the blade has been off of here as well. I have a feeling it has been, because these blades are very difficult to get off. Now, there's evidence of, well, we'll go into that in another video. Alright. Okay, so this will make it easier to test it too. So let's get this off. I'm not sure how this is put together. Sure would be nice if they just taped the terminals together and I can just stick them back on and it'll be relatively hassle-free. Okay, looks like the terminals are still there, which is good. Or one of the terminals is still there. Looks like what they did is they replaced this terminal, or they replaced this terminal with something else, and they unfortunately cut the wire critically short, such that I will not be able to get it back onto the and this wire comes out of the windings, so we've got to be very careful with that wire. I'm going to go around and get another clip. I think I have some somewhere. Okay, happen to have the perfect size on hand, so we're going to use this. And now we're going to have to, I think what I'll probably do is put this on here, because I don't have any of that clear sleeve thing. So we'll do that and we'll stick that over it. And that should work pretty well. So, let's see, what else do I have here? We're going to have to do, I'm really mad that they cut this so short. We're going to have to extend this wire, and that's going to be interesting because we don't have a lot of slack to work with whatsoever, and I'm very concerned about this wire breaking off from the windings. So let me go get a piece of scrap wire here. Okay, this is the wire that we're going to use. I believe this came off of a like a light fixture or something, one of those tall pendant style ones. This is 18 gauge, and so is this, so it should be fine. So we need this to just go kind of like that. So I'm going to cut this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use this other thing because this has a fresh cut on the end. We're going to need about that much. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. And then a good way to split this kind of wire is to take a precision knife, kind of like this one, and cut down the center. And then you should be able to just pull it apart. So we only need one side, and that's all we're going to use. So, I really hate this, but we're going to cut this off. And now we have so little to work with. This is really getting kind of risky here. Okay, looks like that went pretty well. That is very thin. Oh, actually that's solid wire. Wasn't expecting that. Alright, so now that's done, do I have any crimps? I'm thinking the best way to do this is going to be to use a string tubing, but this is too big. And I don't know if I have any smaller sizes. Oh no. Oops. Okay. Well, oh, what's this? Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Alright, we're gonna have to... Yeah, we'll just do this. Oh. I guess what I could have done is I could have just kept this. Well, yeah, I guess I could have kept this on there and just done that, and maybe that would have been better, but shoulda, woulda, whatever people say. Irrelevant now. So we're gonna have to just do this. We'll use the string tubing, and hopefully it'll shrink enough. And if it don't shrink enough, then I'll figure something else out. It's worth a shot, because if I don't at least try it, I can't finish this today. And if I don't finish this today, it's going to get pushed off until next week. So, yeah, do it like that. And alright, let's strip this while we're waiting for the solder iron to get one. I'm going to take the meter and move this out of the way. And I'm going to take this and put the cover on, because I'm bound to get injured if I don't. And don't need all this string tubing out. Don't need this out. Don't need that. I'm going to put this away. And we'll get rid of this and this because those are no longer of any use to us. Still need the Allen key. That we're not going to use during this project. I'm not going to use that again. I'm not going to use this again. And okay. So let's see if the soldering iron is warm enough to use. The answer is yes. So is that making a sound? What in the world? Okay, that was kind of strange. Alright, so let's proceed with this. What we're going to do here, we got a nice tricolor unit in 150 background. We're going to... Did I strip this yet? No, I didn't strip this yet. Okay. Back up, back up. Let's strip this first. And I try to do approximately the same length that's already on there now. Okay. And now we're going to do what's called a tinning of this wire. So what that is just more or less coating this in solder, because this is stranded wire. What is all over the floor here? We're going to coat this in solder so it's easier to work with and doesn't keep coming apart. Okay, so at this point, the wire of this is so going to go flying off of here. So now the wire is tinned, and the strands are not going to come apart and cause a fiasco. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make connection here. And that did not go very well. I think this solder is, let's get some new solder on the iron here. Hopefully the smoke alarm doesn't start sounding. Oh, this is awful. Okay, so now those two wires are joined, and what I'm going to do is let's make sure that's, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, that's a good connection. So we're going to take the shrink tubing now, and we only need about that much. I'm going to leave excess so that there's extra insulation here. So we're going to cut this about this much. Okay, I guess we're not going to cut that. Okay, so we're going to slide this on here now. And I'm going to slip this just back behind the motor. Actually, I guess there's really no reason to do that. Just leave it like that. Get some of this solder off of the iron here. And now we're just going to shrink this. Yes, I need to get a heat gun. I realize that. There's absolutely no reason to blow up the comments box with that information. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. It's a good connection. So now what we're going to do is actually there's quite a bit excess on here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this again because we got way too much on here. Far more than we'll ever need in this case. So we're going to... What in the world happened? These used to cut very well. I don't understand why these aren't cutting that well anymore. I guess I gotta get this sharpened or something. I don't know. Anyways, we'll just switch this over stripper for now. Because you gotta be very careful with this kind of a wiring scenario, because you don't want to have any excess where the wire could potentially come into the field of the blade. So I'm gonna make sure that this is really just enough to make the connection. So I'm actually going to cut it back to here as well, and then strip this. Actually, let's strip with these because these are a bit more dependable when it comes to stripping different sizes. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of tinning again. And now I'm going to connect this. It actually has a bit too much exposed copper on there. Okay, so that fits in there pretty well. I gotta zoom in. Zooming, 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 zooming. Let's see if we can go a little bit more. Perfect. So you can see here on this thing, there's a little bit of a tab right there. And that tab, you want the wire to just touch when you put it in. And that's pretty much where we're at right now. So I'm going to put this up as if it was going to be on the fan, which would be right about there. And I'm going to... First we got to put the bigger shrink tubing on there. That's probably not necessary, in all honesty, but since they did it, I'm going to do it as well. We'll just have like... I'm not going to shrink this. Where's the... Here it is. I'm just going to put it on there like the other one is. So we'll slip this on here first. And get this here. And now we're going to crimp that down. Oh, that's cool. You can't see a dog or anything. Okay, so that's crimped onto there now. And then in theory, this can just slip onto there like that. Let's see if I can get a better angle on this here. There we go. So you can see we have our new connection, and then after I test it, I'm just going to take this piece and kind of slip this up over it, just because this is a fairly open area, and I don't think having bare contacts is a particularly wise idea. So I'll slip this up over here. And that certainly became less sightly than it was before. I wonder if, just because that is visible, I think I'm going to change that. I'm going to cut this off a little bit, because really all we need is it just to go over it like that. That's all I want. So I'm going to cut this back. And now I'll slip this up over here, and that should be plenty more sightly this time around. Okay, so now I'm going to plug it in, and we're going to test it sans blade, just for purposes of ease. So it's going to be off right now. Not sure how far into the recording that decided to run out of charge, but it works. So that's good. Yeah, I'm going to close out the video there, and I'm going to do another video for opening up the motor and lubricating it and everything. Thank you for watching. Comment, subscribe, and out.